everyone, welcome to our program Doctor, and today my topic is hyperlipidemia. Hyperlipidemia is a heterogeneous group of disorders characterized by an excess amount of lipids in the bloodstream, and these lipids may be cholesterol esters, phospholipids and triglycerides. And lipids are transported in the blood as large lipoproteins, and lipids are fat soluble molecules, and these are transported in a protein capsule. The size of the capsule determines its density. So lipoproteins are classified based on their density, and these are chylomicrons, very low density lipoprotein, that is VLDL, intermediate density lipoprotein IDL, and low density lipoprotein, that is LDL, also called as bad cholesterol, and high density lipoprotein, that is HDL, also known as good cholesterol. And most triglyceride is transported in chylomicrons or VLDL, and most of the cholesterol is transported in LDL or HDL. And synonyms for the hyperlipidemia, these are hypercholesterolemia, hypertriglyceridemia, hyperlipoproteinemia, dyslipidemia and high serum cholesterol. Hyperlipidemias are divided into primary and secondary subtypes. Primary hyperlipidemia, also known as familial hyperlipidemia, because it occurs due to genetic causes. For example, mutation in the receptor protein. And secondary hyperlipidemias, also called as acquired hyperlipidemias, because it occurs due to other underlying causes, such as diseases associated with secondary hyperlipidemias are type 1 and type 2 diabetes, hypothyroidism, Cushing syndrome, nephrotic syndromes, and cholestatic disorders, chronic renal diseases, etc. And drugs associated with secondary hyperlipidemias are immunosuppressive therapy, thiazide diuretics, progestins, anabolic steroids, glucocorticoids, alcohol consumption, beta blockers, and dietary causes for hyperlipidemia. Fat intake per total calories more than 40%, and saturated fat intake per total calories more than 10%, and cholesterol intake greater than 300 mg per day, and also excessive alcohol intake. And now I am giving normal values of the different lipids. And the desirable values for different lipids. The cholesterol should be more than 200 mg per deciliter, and LDL level more than 130, HDL level less than 60, and triglyceride level more than 200 milligrams per deciliter. And the levels that are considered abnormal, these are cholesterol more than 240 milligrams per deciliter, and LDL more than 160, triglycerides more than 400, and HDL less than 35 milligrams per deciliter. Hypertriglyceridemia is generally asymptomatic until triglyceride levels sustained above 1000 milligrams per deciliter. And symptoms like dermatological manifestations such as eruptive xanthomas and gastrointestinal manifestations such as pancreatitis. And there is a yellowish nodules of the fat in the skin beneath eyes, elbows and knees, and also in tendons. And in some types of hyperlipidemia, we can see enlarged spleen and liver, and we can observe whitish ring around the eye pupil. Next, coming to the complications due to hyperlipidemias. First one is pancreatitis. Pancreas is responsible for the breakdown of carbohydrates, fats and proteins in the body. When hyperlipidemia occurs, there is an excess amount of triglycerides buildup, and which can cause infection is known as pancreatitis, and it is an extremely serious and deadly condition. And next complication is premature coronary artery disease. Hyperlipidemia is when the blood vessels that bring blood and oxygen to the heart, and the heart has to work overtime to pump blood throughout the body, and eventually the blood vessels become very narrow that the blood cannot pump through to the heart, and early symptoms are chest pain and difficulty in breathing, and eventually can cause heart attack. And next complication is heart attack. A heart attack can be a result of coronary artery disease, and when the blood vessels that bring blood to the heart are completely blocked. When this occurs, the heart muscles begins to die off slowly, creating permanent damage. And heart attack is a serious complication. If it is not treated properly, death will occur. Next, coming to the another complication, stroke. And hyperlipidemia has been linked with increased stroke risk because of the plaque formation. And the plaque lodges in the brain and prevents blood flow to the brain, resulting in cell death. An ischemic stroke is the most common type of the stroke. Next, coming to the another complication, atherosclerosis. As I said, hyperlipidemia can cause plaque formation, which reduces the blood flow through the arteries, and plaque also causes hardening of the arteries, and which causes less flexible of the arteries, and this condition is known as atherosclerosis, which can lead to heart attack. And mainly low density lipoprotein, that is LDL, is responsible for the atherosclerosis. And coming to the treatment, the National Cholesterol Education Program NCEP has developed guidelines for the cholesterol management, which has two goals. The first goal is prevention of atherosclerosis in individuals who have high cholesterol in their blood but have not yet developed coronary artery disease. According to NCEP, the risk factors are: first one is age, over 45 years in men and over 55 years in women, and family history of coronary artery disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, low HDL level and high LDL level, cigarette smoking. For individuals who have these risk factors, prevention of coronary artery disease focuses on diet and early treatment with medication. And the second goal focuses on treatment of individuals who have already with coronary artery disease. And at this point, the physician will implement a very aggressive treatment with diet and medication. Coming to the drug therapy. And for treatment of secondary hyperlipidemias, many patients require treatment with statins. Statins are HMG coenzyme A reductase inhibitors. They reduce the cardiovascular risk. Coming to the mechanism of action of statins. Statins inhibit the enzyme HMG coenzyme A reductase, which plays an important role for the production of cholesterol in the liver, which produces about 70% of the total cholesterol in the body. And examples for these statins are atorvastatin, fluvastatin, lovastatin, rosuvastatin, etc. If triglycerides are markedly increased, fibrates are preferable. These are fenofibrate, bezafibrate, etc. Then mechanism of action of fibrates. Induction of lipoprotein lipolysis and induction of hepatic fatty acid uptake and reduction of triglyceride production. then increase in HDL production and increased removal of LDL. And side effects of fibrates and statins. They may cause increased risk of gallstone formation, myopathy and rhabdomyolysis. Next, coming to the other medication for hyperlipidemia, niacin administration, that is vitamin B3. And niacin increases the levels of good cholesterol, that is HDL, and lowers the bad cholesterol, that is LDL. And also niacin helps to reduce the atherosclerosis and also reduces the hardening of arteries. Next, coming to the other important medication, fish oil. Fish oil is a rich source of special class of polyunsaturated fatty acid known as omega-3 fatty acids. And omega-3 fatty acids lowers the triglyceride levels in the blood. Examples are tuna, salmon fish and sardine fish, and they have high content of omega-3 fatty acids. And fish oil is available in the form of capsules. I hope you learned something today about hyperlipidemia. Thanks for watching. See you in the next episode with another topic. Till then, take care.